The first 3 chapters conclude the last book's cruise story. Yor is fighting a bunch of hired hitmen. Anya tries to help by throwing a weapon. Anya can't throw that far. The weapon lands nowhere near the scene. It works. The fleeing villains accidentally trip on the weapon and hurt themselves. Anya pretends that's exactly what she planned all along.
Argo Funk Book Review. Argo Funk Book Review.
Yor defeats the hitmen, and Twilight finally notices there's a bunch of spy stuff happening here. He disguises himself as a crewman and disables the bombs. He has to throw the last bomb overboard, where it defeats the last 2 villains. After all this bomb and hitman stuff, the family gets a breather episode. They do cruise ship tourist stuff on an island. It looks like fun, and the only drama is Yor trying to hide her chest wound. I hope the anime doesn't use this episode as an excuse to constantly focus on her chest. Back at school, Anya tries to impress her classmates with exaggerated tales of her vacation. Damien is amused by how pathetic she looks. Anya's 3 family members try to teach her that lying is bad. Since they all lead secret double lives, this lesson doesn't work. Twilight attempts to train Bond, but Bond keeps failing by accident. For example, Bond uses his foresight to save an old man from being hurt, but it looks like he attacked an old man for no reason. Bond senses somebody's trapped inside a fire. He and Twilight rush in the burning building. The trapped person is actually a dog, which is a cute joke. It's also cute when someone dumps water on Bond. He looks so silly with wet fur. Also, Bond and Twilight get to be heroes as they identify and stop the arsonist. Becky's on the cover, so she gets a story. This is the most controversial chapter of the book. Becky decides to seduce Twilight, just like on a soap opera. She's 6 years old, right? This is highly inappropriate. Becky tries soap opera tricks, like letting down her hair and pretending to be drunk. Yor panics because the small child is drunk. That's a bad medical situation. Becky thinks of Yor as a romantic rival at first, but Yor is so strong and awesome, she wins Becky over to her fan club. In the next chapter, Agent Nightfall needs forged documents for a mission. She's forced to work with Frankie. They go undercover as a couple at a dance club. He keeps messing up by trying to flirt with her. She keeps messing up by ignoring danger. They get the job done, even though some secret police officers attack. Frankie will be scared of Nightfall forever now. The last story is about being expelled from school. Oh yeah, I remember they talked about expulsion like 6 books ago. Nice to see they're finally following up on that storyline. You get expelled if you get a certain number of demerits, or tonitrus bolts as the school calls them. Damien's friends brag he'll never get a tonitrus. If he does, they'll run through the school in their underwear. Well, that's a gross and unnecessary bet to make. Damien, you should make new friends who do not volunteer you for weird stuff. A nasty disciplinarian named Madame Schlag arrives. She loves to hand out tonitruses over minor things. It looks like Damien will get a tonitrus for not having a handkerchief. Anya says she has 2 handkerchiefs, and she gives Damien her spare one. Anya's surprised to see she's wrong. She only had 1 handkerchief. As a result, she gets a tonitrus. Now she's closer to expulsion than she is to becoming an Imperial Scholar. That's bad, but at least Damien owes her a major favor now. I hope she doesn't waste it on something silly like a keychain. The end. Post-book follow-up. This book was fine. I said in my last review, I think the cruise story should have been 1 entire book. I still think that. It doesn't quite work to have a third of this book being the conclusion of last book's story. I actually forgot who the villains were in between books. The rest of the book is 5 one-chapter stories. They all worked fine. As I said, the Becky chapter was controversial since it's sexualizing a small child. I really hope that never happens with Anya. The series seems to be going back and forth between books that are a bunch of unrelated short stories in books which are longer stories. I'm fine if the series keeps doing that, although I'm sure some people will complain about the books like this one, which don't move the overall story forward. I give Spy X Family 9 a 7 out of 10.